Good morning, writer friends. How are you? I'm so glad to see you again. It's Mrs. Shadaman, and I am so excited to get to write today. Are you guys as excited as I am? Will you give me a thumbs up if you're excited to write too? Oh, awesome. That makes my heart, it looks kind of like a heart so happy. Well, since we're getting ready to start, you know what we have to do, right? We have to get all the things we need, and hopefully you already have those, but just in case, I need you to get something to write with. I need you to get something to write on. I need you to get any tools that your teacher has given you that might help make it easier for you to write. I need you to get your writing folder if you have that at home, because you need someplace to keep all of that wonderful writing. And lastly, but most importantly, you need someone to share your writing with. And remember, that can be a real life person that you have at home, or it could be a stuffy like I use. So right now, will you pause and go get the things you need and then come right back to me, because I can't wait for us to get started. Okay, thank you for coming back to me so quickly. I appreciate that. Oh man, it just brings such a smile to my face to see you this morning. I've really missed you a lot. Okay, so listen, I have to tell you something. Do you know the other day I was outside and my kindergarten neighbor, little friend, was trying to ride their bike. And, they were having a little bit of trouble. So I said, you know what? I'll help you. I know how to ride a bike. So I went over there and as I was helping them ride, a neighbor walked by and a neighbor said, "Hey, stop. You're not going to actually ride your bike in those shorts, are you?" And my little friend looked up at me and said, "I don't know." And the neighbor said, "If you ride with shorts on and you fall, you could really skin your knees." So my friend hopped off the bike, ran inside, and put a pair of pants on, which I thought was so smart. So they hopped back on the bike and we got ready to ride, and I was holding the back, and suddenly their mom walked outside and said, "Hey, wait, stop." And so we stopped, and she turned and looked up at her mom, and her mom said, "Hey, your helmet is really loose, like that strap, your helmet's kind of wobbling all around." And so we paused, and she said, "If you fall off with your helmet so loose, you might really hurt your head." So we tightened up that chin strap so that it felt just right. And as we started to go again, me holding the back and her starting to pedal, we thought to ourselves, wow, we're so thankful we got all of those helpful warnings and tips. And do you know, writers, that made me stop and think about the work that we're doing with our how-to books. And it made me realize that when we write how-to books, that writers don't just teach the steps. No, they add little warnings and tips to their books. And they do this by thinking about how the learner could go wrong. And then they add some advice to keep that from happening. So I thought it might be a good idea for us to take a look at our mentor author, Alyssa Capicelli, and the book, My First Soccer Game, to see if we can find places where she gave the reader a little warning, advice, or tip. And as I read it, will you give me a thumbs up if you hear a place where it sounds like she might be giving some advice, a warning, or a tip to the reader? You ready? Let's dig in. So I'm going to turn to this page right here. Game time. Together we run and dribble and pass. Our feet start and stop the ball. Teamwork is what soccer's all about. It doesn't matter if you're big or small. Don't forget, in soccer, you don't use your hands. Oh my goodness, I saw so many of you go like this, like, oh yeah, you're right there. she gave a little tip, right? She said, don't forget, in soccer, you don't use your hands. That's a little tip for us. Okay, let's see if we can find another place. Are you ready? Really listen for any time that you hear her give us a little tip, a little warning. Put the ball next to the inside of your foot. That just sounds like a regular direction, right? Number 2, move the ball forward, back, or even side to side. Tap and run, tap and run. That's called dribbling. That kind of just sounds like another direction, right? Just another step. Buddy up. Pass the ball back and forth to a teammate as you run. That's called passing. Be sure to practice with both feet. Oh, that kind of sounded like a little tip, right? Toes up high to the sky, heel down low, way to go. That's a great way to make the soccer ball step. So do you see how when she wrote her book, she gave us a little bit of tips or warnings to make the steps even more clear? So I was thinking that we could do that same kind of work in our story or our how-to book, How to Make a Peanut Butter Sandwich. And I thought as we sort of think about our different steps, let's stop and think, is there a place where maybe something could go wrong, where we feel like we need to add in a tip or a warning? Let's think about that, all right? And if you find a place, will you go like this? Yeah, that'll let me know that, uh-oh, right there, we need to stop and we need to add in a tip or warning. So remember, you're gonna go, right? Okay, show me, show me how it works. Yeah, you're right. I see all of you going, okay, here we go. How to make a peanut butter sandwich. Step 1. First, get the jar of peanut butter. Oh my goodness, I saw so many of you go like this. Yeah, because what happened? You're right. I heard you say when you got the jar, be sure to what? Yeah, to not drop it. So I have to add that tip or warning, right? Because that's something that could go wrong. So right here, I want to say, first, get the jar of peanut butter. Be sure to not drop the jar, right? That's right, Dad, because that's a little tip or warning. So be sure. That's a tricky word. You actually write it like this. Be sure to. We know that word. That's a snap word, TO2. Be sure to not. Be sure to not drop. Drop. Drop the. We know that's the. We can say the or we can say the, but we always spell it T-H-E. Be sure to not drop the jar. J. R. A-R says R. And I need my period to say that's the end of that sentence. So do you see how we added a little tip or warning to help the reader and make our directions even more clear? Let's reread that page. First, get the jar of peanut butter. Be sure to not drop the jar, right? That's a great warning. So, writers, as you go off to write today, be thinking about how the learner could go wrong when they follow your directions, and give some advice, tips, or even a warning to keep that from happening. Remember that it sometimes helps to actually act out the actions when you're teaching so that you can think of the things that could go wrong and then give a warning or tip to keep that from happening. I can't wait to read your how-to books and all your tips and warnings. Now go off and be great writers today.